It's live,
Live.
live in the D with Mr.
BB.
BB.
It's Live in the D with Mr.BB every Thursday at 9 a.m. right here on WVI 107.3 Radio We Can See. Again, a local Detroit author, soon to be published author, Ms. Stacy Lampkin, who's coming on and gonna share with us and tell us about her new book coming out, Young and Ambitious. Good morning, Ms. Stacy.
Good morning.
And how are you today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm good. So, as I mentioned before, you're soon to be published author. So just tell us a little bit about that. Tell us a little about yourself. How'd you get into writing and whatnot?
Well, I started writing when I was 11. Me and my cousins, we were bored at like a family party, and they made like all the kids sit in one room. So my cousin was like, let's write some stories, and it was called A Ghetto Story, and we all wrote our own version of it. But I've always liked reading and writing anyways, so like when I was writing it, I don't know, I just found it fun. Yeah, I found it to be fun, and then so I started writing more to it after that day, and I eventually lost it. But I just kept writing stories, and then I would like put it in a binder, and then I was in 6th grade then, so in middle school I used to like pass the binders around to my friends and let them read it, and I just kept writing up to high school.
Okay.
And then I think I stopped in high school.
Right.
And then when I got to college, I had started Young and Ambitious, and then I stopped. And then this year I was like, it's time to just finish it. I want to be an author and I want to publish it. So this year I really just worked hard on it and finished it.
Okay. So, so that's how you got into writing and why you write and the college life. I can attest that college really makes you write. So I can imagine the classes you were taking really must have been, okay, wow, this is kind of sparked something in you. But what really inspires you to write, you think?
I think just being able to articulate your thoughts and your point in like a witty kind of way, because it's like when you talk, most of the time people won't listen to you,
right?
And then a lot of times, even if if you're positive in your actions, people still they don't follow. So I feel like with Young and Ambitious, like if you are a reader or you're a young adult or a teen and you read it, then I feel like you have no choice but to pay attention to the themes that I have put in there. So I think it's really just, like, cause sometimes I'll write like poems if I'm feeling like really happy or really down.
Right.
So it's just kind of like I get to put my thoughts and everything into this cool structure.
Right.
So I think that's it.
Okay. Well, tell with your thoughts and whatnot. I understand. I looked at your site and your page, and it said that you're also a tutor, part-time or full-time tutor. So can you tell us how does that tutoring tie in with your writing, or how does it help it,
So I've been tutoring since I started in high school.
Okay.
And then in college I did it as like community service. And then after college I didn't tutor until 2016. I graduated in 2015. Then 2016, I just had one job, and I was working at a school, and I was bored, so I was like, I'm going to tutor my two little cousins. And then people started asking me to tutor their kids, and so I was like, okay, I can kind of, make this a business, I guess.
Right.
And then a lady who has a tutoring company, she asked me to tutor a student for her. So then after that, I just started getting my own students, and now like it's just become like my life, I guess.
Right.
But I've always loved tutoring. I've been tutoring, like I said, since high school. So it's just something that I always like to do.
Okay. Can you give us just a brief, maybe synopsis of the book? Some of the things we're seeing. I saw a list of characters there. Nola, the beloved gifted, Sasha, the defender. Yeah.
So when I started off, it was going to be like just this girly type of book.
Right.
So that's why all the girls' characters their names have meaning. Like Nala is beloved, like it means like gift. And she, like, her story to me kind of like really relates to me, but I feel like the things that I've been through in a way that I can like just prosper through it all and just use that as strength. Like, I really look at myself like a gift. So that's why I chose her name. Okay. Cadence, her name is really with her character, because Cadence, yeah, right. It means like rhythm, flow, like voice, and like she always voices her opinion, which I do. Like, all these characters honestly are just a piece of me. Like, I always voice my opinion, and I'm always honest. And that's her. Ebony, you know, means black. Right. So she is like the pro-black one. She's the one that wears the natural hair. She's the one, you know, that's not with, you know, society standards and everything. Exactly. So that's why she has her name. And then Sasha, it's like defender. It's more, to me, I looked at it more like fierce versus defender, because she's that one that's like real confident, like she knows like I'm all that. So that's why I chose her name. And then with the guys, I had already chose their names, but they weren't going to be like main characters at first. Right. But then I had got so much into the book, I was like, okay, there's no point in me going and changing their names. So their names really don't have, you know, that deep meaning as the girls do.
Well, yeah, I did notice one though. Andrew, he has a manly, masculine.
Yeah,
was the only one.
Yeah, he's like the pro-black boy of the group. So I can tell you guys about the guy characters still, even though their names don't have those D meanings. Andrew, he is like he's the pro-black. He's that man. Like, even though I'm a teenager, like, I'm gonna stand on my 2 feet. Like, nobody's gonna, you know, I don't know, just how society tries to make a black man just, you know, conform to their standards. Like, he's like, no, I'm gonna be me.
Exactly. So, stay in your place, sit and be still.
Yeah. So, you know, his name does fit him. Then you have Lance. Everyone else I'm about to name, they don't have deep meanings behind their name. But Lance, he is that guy that's like he's like the ladies man. Like, he just can't stop messing with all these different girls, even though he has a girlfriend. And, you know, he's just out there. Right. And Trevor is the guy who's like who came from like having nothing in life and just trying to make it, but it's like hard when you try to have like a good heart and then you try to make it, but it's like you're trying to live 2 different worlds, and it's kind of like crash on you. And Keon, he's the basketball player, so like the typical basketball star. Okay. But then, you know, he goes through a lot of stuff, and then all the characters, their lives connect in a way. So he's meeting like some of the other characters who are kind of in the street, so it kind of turns him out from, you know, having his straightforward path of going to play basketball and everything.
So not only do all your characters connect, but they're also generally, from what I'm seeing, what you're telling me, they're relatable. Yeah. You can relate them to, you know, the average young African-American male or female can relate to at least one of the characters in the book. Right. Which is always a good thing when the characters are, you know, that makes them more three-dimensional, when, like, oh, I can see myself as, maybe not Lance, but as Keon or Trevor, but I can see myself as one of these young men or young women. Now you say you had a piece of each female character was part of probably you know how you act. Do you think you put any of that into any of the male characters at all? Well,
the male characters came from guys that I've dated, actually. Okay. Like, I dated a guy like Lance who just had all these girls and just couldn't get rid of them, and like a guy who like had his head, you know, he had like a straight path to where you know what you're gonna do, not necessarily basketball, but then just let life, you know. Well, now I wouldn't say let life, because when you're young, it's not necessarily you're letting life ruin you, but it just ends up happening. Yeah. You know, when Trevor, Drew, so basically they're based off guys that I've dated.
Okay. All right. And you spoke on Ebony, who's a natural black, she's all pro-black and the natural hair and whatnot. And again, I noticed in your blog, in your website, you speak about that as well as natural hair and natural hairless. Can you tell us a bit about, just you being a young black woman in the natural hair and how that topic kind of comes all together?
Yeah, so I've been like really obsessed with my hair lately because I tried to start 2 years ago, well, 2015, and then I quit because everybody was saying it was ugly, and then I felt ugly and I wasn't used to it. And then I started back in 2016, but I had to like keep pushing myself because, I had all these straight pieces because it was like heat damaged, and then I had color in my hair, so that was making it fall out too. So I had to like really just tell myself like, you're going to get the end results, and follow all these natural pages on Instagram and use that as motivation. And now like my natural curl pattern is just so perfect, and like well you probably know like shrinkage and everything. Like my hair is like coming down here now when I straighten it out. So now like my hair is really getting the results that I wanted, so I'm glad that I really stuck with it. And what I want to do as part of my foundation, I really want to like help black girls grow their hair. When I worked at the school, I started with the 6th graders, and then I went to kindergarten. So I noticed like the kindergartners, they had like they had really long hair, and their parents kept their hair in braids, protective styles. And then by the time they got to 6th grade, that's when it was kind of like ate out, all damaged and everything. So what I want to do is I want to like go to like middle schools and high schools and do something with my foundation where I'm helping the girls grow their hair. I know like a lot of people are afraid to walk around like with their hair like this. So I don't know, I just want to show them like my results and show them that our hair does grow. Like we can have long healthy hair, but you have to be patient with it. So and then I'm also doing the Bald and Bougie. That was my first excuse me. That was my very first blog post because yeah. So during the summertime, I did a lot of wash and goes. So my hair was like curly, shrink, looking really short all the time. So like people just kept saying, "Did you cut your hair?" Because I always had like a decent amount of hair. Thank you so much.
Lampkin's still here with us. Again, continue talking about not only her book, but we got into discussion here about the other things she's doing. Her organization, foundation, the natural hair she's rocking and supporting and helping young women and young ladies grow their hair and be comfortable with their natural hair. And next I want to talk about is your foundation. That was the last thing we've kind of left on. So what is your foundation? What does it do? What's the name of your foundation and what do they do?
So the name of the foundation is also called Young and Ambitious, like the book.
Okay.
And I started in 2016, and I did a back to school event and a prom contest and a coat drive.
Okay.
And what I want to do is like what I really had to do for 2017. I had to choose between pushing the foundation and the book, and I chose the book to get that out of the way. Right. And then now this year I really want to like go forward with it and do a lot of things in the community, especially things that we don't see with like we have a lot of programs in Detroit. Yes. But I really want to work on not necessarily just the self-esteem, but I feel like the self-esteem really helps the kids in the classroom. Like just noticing like the 6th grade girls that I work with, like you can tell that, I don't know, you get the vibe that the reason that they are not performing well or the reason that they're in school and don't care is because they don't feel good about themselves. Okay. So I want to do things in a foundation that's going to make them feel good as a whole, and I feel like that's just going to automatically go into their schoolwork and other things, because if you wake up, you feel like, not necessarily like, oh, you all that, but you're like, I feel good,
Exactly. Feel good.
I'm going to go to school. I need to perform well because I need these grades to go to the next level because I want to be something in life. So I feel like it's just going to naturally flow once these girls get rid of all these self-esteem issues and barriers. So that's what I want to do this year with once you know the
Once
book
is
the
out.
book launch party and everything, I want to start doing that. And especially with the hair, I just want I just I just want the girls to not feel like their hair is ugly.
Exactly.
Because a lot of people would tell me my hair was ugly, and then it would kind of make me feel like it was ugly until I got to the point where I didn't care what they said.
Okay.
So I just feel like nobody is focusing on black girls and their self-esteem. Like, they're too busy criticizing them for what they do at a young age. Like, okay, they're in 7th grade. They don't, necessarily know that what they're doing can be destructive.
Right.
All you have to do is help them, but you have to start from the inside. Like, people always want to put a Band-Aid on what's going on, but you have to really, get inside of who they are, right,
yep,
and to, fix it.
Mm-hmm.
So with my foundation, that's one of the main things that I want to do. I want to do the back to school event too, and I also want to do the prom contest. One day I want to have a school, so that's like my ultimate goal with it, is to have a school, and that centers on not just what you're learning in school, because a lot of times they only teach for the test and then they forget it, and so they really haven't learned anything. So I want to do, I want my school to focus on everything that's really going to make them productive citizens in life after school, and not just pass a test and then when you get to college, you're really struggling because you didn't really learn anything.
Focus on learning for life. Focus on, what you want to be, vocational kind of thing.
Right.
Okay, I can see it. And to bring it full circle, again, we've talked a lot about everything on your site and your blog, but let's talk a bit about that, your actual blogging in itself. How did you, of course, as a writer, that probably comes more natural to you. It's easier than maybe the average person who just kind of does it on freelance, free time. But your blog.
Yeah, so the blog, I just saw a bunch of people blogging on Facebook, and then, of course, since I love writing, I'm like, okay, I want to do this. But I didn't have anything to write about at first until the summer, I had started. People was just like, did you cut your hair? They was like, did you cut your hair? Why are you so bald-headed? And, literally they'll say that. And they were just saying a whole bunch of stuff about, the length of my hair or whatever. So, it was hard for them to understand, this is shrinkage. So it just came to my mind. I'm like, let me make a blog post. I'm going to call it Bald and Bougie. Since everybody think I'm bald, I'm just going to embrace the bald title and say Bald and Bougie. So I wrote the blog, and then I basically made it being natural, this is what you have to deal with. I kind of did it in a sarcastic way.
Right.
And then the second part of it was showing my growth from when I had the color and everything, and up into the point during the summer, just to show you're gonna have to deal with people calling you these names, or people not used to it staring at you in public, but then once you see your growth, you're gonna fall in love with your hair. So that was really what it was about. And then the rest of my I haven't blogged as much as I want, because I've been doing the book,
right.
But I want to do a blog post at least once a week, and I want to just talk about things that are important, things that are fun. I just want to write and get people to be entertained or motivated by whatever I put in my blog.
Yep. Like I see, one of your posts is 10 ways to protect your peace, and I think that's always important, because so often just in everyday life, dealing with family, dealing with other things, we get caught up in maybe other people's stuff, or wrapped up in the daily grind, that we forget to protect that center of and letting everything get away from us. So again, I think yes, that your blog, and I'm seeing a lot here, you touched on mental illness a bit, and other things, just things to help other people keep yourself motivated, so to speak. So let's go back to the book. When is the official release date of your book?
So I had to change it. It was going to be January 20th. Now it's going to be February 17th.
Okay.
And it's going to be at the Baltimore Gallery from 4 to 8. I do want to, I don't know if I want to put it on pre-order. I did want to, but I think I would put it on, I think I'll put it available to order online after the release party.
Right.
The release party, at first, it was just more for me, my family and friends. Really, I just wanted it to be a celebration of this accomplishment.
Right.
But everyone told me I should make it public and have other people come. So that's what I'm gonna do. And yeah, the date has changed. It was January 20th, now it's February 17th. I am gonna make at first the event thing was private. I didn't know I made it private on Facebook, and then they said you can't change it from private to public, so now I have to make like
a new event.
Public thing.
Yep.
Yeah, we're gonna take pictures. I'm gonna have food. I'm gonna have drinks, and it's really just like to have fun and celebrate the release of the book.
Okay, and so that's the release. And what other events do you have lined up after the book party? So
for February 25th, the Detroit Book City. I don't know if you guys heard of it. They're doing, and they do it at the Northwest Activity Center too.
Yeah.
I went to it last year, but I'm going to sell my book there. I'm going to be a vendor there.
Okay.
In June, I'm going to go to Atlanta I forgot what it was called, but it's some type of, not the Essence, the Atlanta, it's some type of expo. Okay. That's, it's going to be in Atlanta, so I'm going to go there and do that. And then also the Essence Festival. This lady that I met in Atlanta, she said she's going to take me there where I can sell my book. She's a publisher in Atlanta, so I'm going to do that. And I think it was Chicago in March. I was thinking about that. It was either March or April. I'm thinking about it. It's just going to depend on, what I'm doing in between, because I do have to like tutor and everything. Right. So I was thinking about that as well.
Okay. And well, actually, after the book, of course, the website. How can others reach you? For website, social media, email.
So all of my social media is Stacy Lampkin. My name Stacy. Then my last name is Lampkin. And my email, I want to say the whole email. Okay. The email is on a social media. So if you go on like my Instagram or something and you click email, and then my phone number is also on my social media. I do tutoring and I put my flyer up and everything. So you can call, text if you want the book. Well, I'm going to make the book for accessible to pre-order. Sometime after the release, probably. I might do it. Well, I guess it can be pre-ordered then. If it's after. Right. I might do the pre-order. I don't know. Yeah, I'm still thinking about that. But either way, after the book release party, you will always be able to get it from my website, which is stacylampkin.com. Gotcha. So my name is StacyLampkin.com. Okay. And it'll always be on there.
StacyLampkin.com. We can order that book off the website after the release party, most likely. Okay. Also, what do you hope people will take away from your book?
Well, first, I hope everybody like it. I'm really critical of myself. Yeah, that. And I kept going back and adding more and taking stuff out.
Changing and editing.
But the whole point is that I really hope that people, and I feel like adults can enjoy it as well if they're reminiscing on their childhood, but I feel like the young adults and the teens, I really want them to take from it the things that we do unconsciously because we don't know any better and we don't have those role models in our life. And not necessarily saying our parents aren't trying to do their best job or anything, but they're living in the same country as us, which, it's just, a trickle down effect. So it's like when your parents were raised away, they don't necessarily know how to raise you in a different way. So it's like, with one of the girls, her mom is just never there. Like her mom is on drugs. She's basically surviving on her own. Right. So it's like whatever she does that can self-destruct her, you can't really blame her because she doesn't know any better. Exactly. So I want the kids to kind of see look at what can happen when you're not careful. Right. And then especially with the girl that's dating Lance who's messing with all these guys, it's like even though she has her mom and her dad, it's like they're just telling her, leave him alone, don't do this, don't do that, but they're not putting any content behind it. So as a teenager, you're like, okay, I'm gonna still do it. Like, why? You know what I'm saying? You're not really explaining why I shouldn't. So then you go through all this, crazy nonsense with this guy to the point where like you just put yourself through all this pain, and like now you're just this young, torn girl for no reason because you didn't have your dad to sit down and say, this is how a man should treat you.
Right.
So it's just simple things like that that I feel like they should really get out of it and try to understand, you know, and I know they won't understand everything right away because I'm still learning life, you know, but I want them to see, like, you know, if this doesn't feel right, or even though someone's not, you know, every day holding your hand, you got to kind of make some decisions on your own just because this is what we were forced to deal with.
Exactly.
So I want a lot of them to really take, you know, a lot
Take the
of,
lesson.
I feel like it's a lesson in every character story. And I feel like you said, it's you can relate to at least one character. So I want them to kind of see, like, your path could possibly go down a drain, you know, if you're not safe.
Exactly.
So.
Exactly. What advice would you give to anyone who wants to be a writer, blogger, getting published, anything like that?
I would say, when you want to do it, go ahead for it. Don't wait so long. Like I don't necessarily regret waiting so long to do it because I feel like the things that I put in my book, I needed those years of growth to actually, you know, put that in there anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I feel like had I had like the entrepreneurship mindset when I was in middle school, like I've written so many stories that I still have, like I could, you know, have so many books right now, or I could, you know, be doing so many other things. Had I started earlier, you know, my growth would already be there. But then it's like you needed this growth to really understand. I don't know much about getting with publishing companies or anything like that because I did self-publish, and I'm not really interested in doing that company because I don't want to deal with any, you know, anything sneaky, and you know, I just don't want to go through that. But so I can't speak on that, but I feel like the self-publishing, it was pretty easy. You know, you just find a publisher, you make sure the price is right. I went up there to Ann Arbor and he walked me around the place and he showed me copies of his book, and I mean, the books that they printed out his book.
Right.
And, you know, I made sure it was a legit place, and, you know, I felt really comfortable with going with them. So just make sure that you're not just sending your money and you haven't, you know, talked to someone. Like, I didn't want to do any publishing companies out of state because I wasn't going to be able to make sure, you know, I was going to get my books and they were going to be good quality.
Exactly.
So I say do that. It's a lot of little small things that you will forget, like the ISBN number. Like I had realized one day that I didn't have that on my book, so I'm like, oh my God, I go back, and it's like $150. So you just gotta kind of like write down all the expenses and have a list of everything you need first. That way you don't end up publishing it and then like I'm glad I didn't send it over before I had that ISBN number because I needed that. So just the small things, I don't think it's hard at all. A lot of it came from like the hardest part was like editing it on your own. I mean, I guess you could like go to someone, but like just making sure like those commas are in the right place because you don't want it to look like you're in third grade.
Exactly.
So, you know, just making sure that the structure of the book, you know, the organization was good. I feel like that was the hardest part. But and I feel like the next hardest part is going to be selling the book. Like, because I'm going to have to do the work on my own. Like, I'm going to have to get out there and sell myself, basically. Like, hey, I have this book. This is what it's about. And, you know, convince people that they're going to get a good quality book. So I feel like that's going to be the next hardest part. But I feel like if you have that drive and you put, you know, realness into your work and you work hard on it, like, it's going to speak for itself. So.
All right, well, we're actually out of time here, but I thank you for joining us, Ms. Stacy Lampkin. And that, again, official launch party is February 17th, correct?
Yep, February 17th. It's a Saturday. February
17th at the Detroit Gallery, and we thank you for joining us. And we hope to see you again, actually, after your book comes out, maybe interview you again and talk about more about your journey in becoming a published author and then making some money with the book, you know, and then selling it and then reaching others at least. All right. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, Mel.
It's live in the D with Mr.BB.
It's Live in the D with Mr.BB every Thursday at 9 a.m. right here on WVI 107.3 Radio We Can See.
That's why I had to say, come follow me, come follow me. That's why I had to say, follow me. Oh, that's why I had to say.